That's a great soldering station. Look at how quickly that's heating up. That's brilliant. Okay, so what we're doing here, issues with the 1717 notorious center wire has desoldered, but it's intermittent, still connected up there, but it's intermittent. Any issues I've ever noticed with these, let's see if I can get some light on this, is this center wire here. It doesn't look like it's desoldered, but I think it has, so I'm going to add a bit of heat to it and redo that solder. You can see inside that wire, see if I can get closer, that wire, there's a slight bit of movement on that, which normally sort of indicates that it has desoldered, but then whenever the solder has hardened again, it's left a gap between the wire and the brass or the solder, which is obviously causing the arcing and the intermittent sort of issue and fault. Whenever you get on the power, it's juddery, it's very, very juddery. So generally that's what we're going to do. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to reheat this solder so she melts, and maybe add a wee bit more and see if I can resolve this issue. Generally the motor is in very, very good condition. I'll add a bit of solder to this top wire here as well. See if I can get into focus. Redo that solder. There we're full temperature now. The spindle, everything's in really, really good condition. You've got your spacer there. This is the end where my fingers is, the end where the pinion goes. And you got brass spacer and then a wee another spacer there. But like there's no sign of where the magnets are tied in on the outside of the can. I know my own 1717, and my own 1717 has had so many runs above 140, 150 mile an hour. It's had a hard life. So it has, but mine has wear on these threads here where it's been rubbing on the outside of the can. This is obviously where the sensor system comes in. So you'll see those wee tags around the side. Those, I'll show you the other side of the sensor, and that's how it operates the sensor. You'll see also, there's people probably query, obviously there's an awful lot of people that are going to know this, but you'll see the wee black bits added on the inside there, and there is, hang on, and in there as well. They're just weights, that's where they add weight in the factory, so it's obviously to balance it. So we have the sensor, just be careful don't lose this other spacer here, this washer. So this is your sensor system. You see the wee black, what would you, I'm not even sure, but we'll just go with sensors. So you can see the wee black sensors around there, and then obviously they determine at what point the motor is revolving or rotating. So we'll get to this now that the solder has heated up. Like obviously putting this back in here, you have to be very careful and watch your fingers. Hang on to give that a clean. You really need to watch your fingers here because this will just take this straight in. So I'm gonna keep my fingers here. This will just want to go straight in here. There you go. You lose your fingers right and handy. So then obviously we're putting the rubber bush on to make our watertight and dust proof. So that goes on. And then we'll stick this wee washer on here. Each motor is going to be different. They're not all going to be equal, so they're going to have, you know, nothing's ever made to the same tolerances, so they have different sizes of washers. My own can is different. It's got a smaller washer on this side, shim washer, whatever you want to call it. It actually has two. It'll have a thin one like was on the other side, and then it'll have a smaller one than that. So that there's nothing's the same tolerance. And then obviously you're just putting that on and trying to get her, excuse the term, but trying to get her in the hole. And then you just put all your screws back together, and that's her. If we can get this in. That's right, looking good. There you go. And just all your screws in again. Motor spins freely. Perfect. Fixed. 1717. Great. Fantastic wee motor.